Hi guys, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and tonight we're gonna kind of take this differential apart. I got some really bad news. I had taken this apart to upload it this weekend. I took it apart last week, and somewhere out there in cyberspace is my video. It's on a cloud somewheres. My tablet in the area I use for filming does not have a trash can, which what's a trash can good for? Well, when something gets deleted by accident, you can take it out of the trash can and keep it again. It's gone. It's really gone. But I want to show you what I found in it when I took it apart. I have the old snapper lube. I did keep it. And compared to most, it was actually in remarkably good shape. The chain case, when we took that apart, if you don't remember, go back on one of the videos. It was a gobbed up mess. There was nothing in there that was being spread around. Now this is the snapper lube that I took out of this gear case, the differential. And if you can see, it's still pretty, well, liquidy, I guess, if that's a word, I don't know. But if you tip it, you can see it running up the side of the bottle. Now we're going to come back to this in a minute. This is my 16-year-old 8090 gear lube, and we're going to tip that up the same way. We're going to coat the side of the container. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, when you take this apart, let me move this camera over here. Okay, you got all these bolts around the outside. You got to unscrew. You got a nut and a bolt in the center, and you have to take the nut off to get your cover or your fender off your differential. Now if you remember, this bushing shot, I'm buying a new one of those. Let me set this somewhere. Now the differential, like I figured, it's in beautiful shape. Now when you took the cover off, this bolt in the center that this sprocket and gear rides on has a O-ring on it, just a standard rubber O-ring. That I'll probably be replacing also. Then it has a coned shaped washer. Now they have a special name for these, but most people, if I called it by its name, wouldn't know what I was talking about. This is a washer that is bowl shaped. The O-ring lays inside of it, and the O-ring is pinched between the washer and the cover. That creates the seal so it doesn't leak. Now the differential and axles are in excellent shape. I'm not even going to take this thing apart. The gears all have, if you can see down in here, very flat edges. The large, I guess some people call this a bull gear. See the nice flats on them? That's what you want to look for. You don't want it to look like, this is out of my 33 inch. This is what they would call a knife edge. See, there is no flats left on this gear at all. The next step this is going to go to is it's going to start stripping the teeth off the gear. This is one out of another machine I tore apart. It has a little a little flat left. It's probably 50% worn. This might last you another 5 to 7 years if you lubricated it good. The next thing down in here is your hex shaft that your chain case drives. These are hollow. And if you look down in there, you can see a Teflon coated insert. Excuse me, insert in both ends. You want to check them for wear. You want to check your sprocket for wear. This one has nice rounded ends on it. Then once you get your cone washer and O-ring off, you can pull this gear assembly out. Now again, all these gears are nice and flat teeth. When you clean this up, I use pipe cleaners. You can get them at a dollar store. Kids use them, make crafts out of. I use them to clean out the oil holes. See that hole in there? You want to make sure that's clean. That's what the oil goes down into. That lubricates the pin that this thing spins on. And again, when you get this bolt out from the other side, it will have another cone-shaped washer and an O-ring. The O-ring goes up against the inside of the cover. The washer goes on with the cone down, so it pinches the O-ring between the washer and the cover. Then you drop this gear assembly on and you put the top on with the washer and the O-ring and a nut. Now you want to check your cover to make sure you don't have any wear in it. One of the covers I had, I don't know where it even is, or if I still got it. No, it's the one I cut up for my model. It had big wear in here from the chain. It was almost through the cover because of all the side play in the axle. It was allowing this assembly to float back and forth, and it was making the chain cut the cover. So you want to make sure you keep out the side play on your axles so you don't have that problem. Now to get back with this 80-90 gear lube, see the sides of the jar are clean. The lube or the oil has ran back down into the rest of it. Something I've noticed with this snapper, it doesn't do that. The more I tip it, the more this stuff builds up thicker and thicker on the side of the jar. And you can see over here where it has dried and actually cracked and separated. That's what I think it does inside of your chain case and your differential. I think it just spreads itself around on the inside of these things, and as it does, it just dries and hardens there. And then the next time you use it, it spreads more around, and pretty soon you just have a caked up mess on the perimeter of your differential and chain case. This was still in pretty good shape. When I cracked it open, it ran out onto the cookie sheet that I use. But this one does have a little mark. You can see it on the outside right there. You can see it on the inside. I don't know why they do that. If they do it for a vent so they think it's going to build up pressure in here, there's no way that can do that because you have your boots clamped out here, and most of the boots have a vent hole in them. That's why I told you when you put new boots on, check to see if you have one with a vent hole in it, and if you do, put that hole up. So if you get any, say if you use the 80-90 gear lube, if some does come out of here and gets into your boot, it'll stay there. One, it'll keep your boot pliable so it can move without cracking. And two, it probably will help lubricate your hex shaft so that your chain case can shift better on that shaft. These I will check for any type of light coming through them. I don't see any in this one, but I believe I'll probably take this to work tomorrow and I will weld that hole shut so I know that it's shut. I've had other people tell me to use JB Weld on it. Well, I've used JB Weld before and it always seems to crack and fall off. I've never really had much luck with it. So I don't think I'm going to use that. This also has a punch on it. Some refer to that as a bird mouth. And I've been told in assembly they're supposed to hammer that shut. Then why do they even punch it in there? And I was told that if you put some JB Weld over that, that will seal it up. I'm just going to weld it shut, and then I know it's sealed. Because the lubrication that I put in these, it is a lot thinner than the snapper lube, and that's why I like it. It spreads around better. It lubricates stuff better as far as I'm concerned. And I don't want it leaking out. So I always weld them holes shut. When I put these together and I put my cork gaskets on, you see I still got to scrape a little bit of this one off. I put that black Permatex on here. Just a thin layer. You don't need a bunch of it. I stick the gasket in place, and that holds the gasket there for you. I'll put a little bit on the fender, or else put some on the top of the gasket, whatever's easier. When I put it together, I know that it's not going to leak on me. So I guess that's all I got. I'm really sorry that that video flew away. I don't have a clue where it is. And I took my tablet to work and I had my three big brain helpers go through the entire tablet, and it's just not in there anywhere. And I can't really put it all back together and do it again. I mean, I suppose I could. But I'm in the process of making up a list for parts. I want to try to get that done tonight and get them ordered tomorrow. And I'll take these covers to work tomorrow, weld them up. I am going to make something to press this bearing out of here with. These bearings, they're what they call a needle bearing. These are a ball bearing. And these needle bearings are much more flimsy than a ball bearing is. So you have to be careful when you press these out and press them in. So I'm going to try to make something or find something in a store that will fit in here to push these out with. That we can all do it at home without going to the shop and doing it. So if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to holler at me from losing that video, put it in the description box below. And I guess that's about it. If you have any further comments or questions on taking yours apart or fixing it, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer you. And I guess until next time, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Next time, work safe, have fun, and let's try to cut some grass. Talk to you soon.